And welcome, sports fans, to today's Sports Roundtable presented by Harry Blackwell Ford and Dodge in Malden. Glad to join us for today's roundtable. We're getting into the last portions of the high school basketball season. We've been covering a lot along the way, especially this week. Big night last night down at the Bootheel Conference Tournament that wrapped up down at Hayti. We were on hand for the championship games of that last night for JV and varsity, and we're going to talk about that in a moment. Also recap some of the games that took place over the last few days in the area as we start to head into the final stretch of the basketball season here. Now we can start to kind of assess these teams looking into district play, which ones are going to be looking strong heading into the end of February here, coming into district tournament time. So it's a very exciting time to see how these teams are starting to find their peak in their season. Going to be an exciting way forward for the rest of the way in high school basketball. And also we're going to be along with Dustin Ferguson, Hayti basketball coach. He's going to be along with us here momentarily to talk about their victory last night, which we'll get to in a moment. So stick around that. We'll have a good talk with Dustin Ferguson and also show you, as I said, show you some highlights of that game. And also later in the segment, we're going to talk about Sikeston extending their undefeated season last night. Also, Makayla Waldner of Dexter having a big week this week here locally in Dexter. And we'll talk about her a little later in the program as well. And, of course, Super Bowl Sunday is this weekend. We'll give you a brief look at that at the end of our show. But quite a bit to get to for today's show, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Going to last night's games. Last night's game starting off with those Bootheel Conference Varsity Finals. It was Hayti over South Pemiscot, 71-66. Impressive victory for the Hayti Indians. Hard-fought game both ways between those two schools, and not really the final you would expect it going into that tournament based on the seeds. Malden and Crothersville were the top two seeds. Ends up being Hayti and South Pemiscot, those neighboring seeds, making it to that conference tournament final. And Hayti took advantage of that home court advantage and secured that victory last night. We've got some footage of that game, highlights from Hayti High School last night, and we'll take a look at those here. Early on in the first quarter, Hayti off to a pretty good start. Kicked out Kobe Cooper, knocking down the three on the right side as South Pemiscot actually got out to the early lead, but Hayti fights its way back. Rawlings for a three on the right side. And here, this Hardeman kid for South Pemiscot, freshman, takes it all the way, length of the court, the finish for the Bulldogs. And here, a nice drive and finish at the basket for Maurice Newbill. We'll talk about him a lot here later in this highlight. Is here a nice drive and finish at the basket by South Pemiscot. Now South Pem's on the run here in the third quarter, and they start to make their run as Hayti really turns it on here as we get a three-pointer. Maurice Newbill knocking down the three, gets another one in the corner. He really started to light it up at the end of that third quarter, and as we see here, Maurice Farr getting a three of his own. And Hayti really opened it up in that third quarter with three-pointers. And here's Newbill again in the corner, knocks it down. And the three-pointers were falling for the Indians there in the third. But here we see Kevin Burton answering for the Bulldogs early in the fourth. And the Bulldogs make a nice run here as Hardeman goes to the basket and the foul. They really made a nice run here in the fourth quarter. But at this point, Hayti held on to the lead. A nice drive and finish. I believe that was Cooper there with the finish. And here we see another nice drive to the basket. And that was pretty much it as Hayti pulled away with that victory late, 71-66. And although it's reversed there, but Hayti with that victory last night. Impressive showing by the Indians. You know, the Indians have been up and down this year. We've seen some very good play, seen some inconsistent play, but they put together a great week this week, especially in that semifinal game, knocking off the top-seeded and undefeated in Bootheel Conference play, the Malden Green Waves. So an incredible week by the Hayti Indians to pull out that Bootheel Conference tournament on their home floor this week. Some very impressive play down there in the Bootheel Conference this week. And Hayti Indians looking strong going forward, playing out of Class 3, looking very tough. And South Pemiscot's right there in the mix as well. But it was just a hard-fought game between those two teams last night, and it was a privilege to watch. And we'll talk a little bit about that later, and we'll have Dustin Ferguson on our next segment to talk about that game last night. And let's take a look at some other games from last night from the area. Advance over Dexter, 68-64. And these two teams played just a few weeks ago. Dexter defeating Advance in the third place game of the Stoddard County Activity Association tournament. And Advance avenged that loss last night on Dexter's homecoming. Went into the Bearcat Event Center, got a tough win on the road against Dexter. Impressive performance there by Advance, defeating the Dexter Bearcats last night at the Bearcat Event Center. And also in other games, we had Bloomfield over Puxico in the Stoddard County Conference, 74-49. Looks like Bloomfield's really found their stride once again this year, and looking good going forward as they've got that impressive win over Woodland, that Stoddard County final. Looking good so far following that tournament. And also we have from last night, Cape Central over Kennett, 63-55. Close game throughout. Cape Central pulls it out there in the end. They're in the CMO Conference. And also from last night, we have Notre Dame over Bernie, 59-26. Notre Dame pulling away with that victory over Bernie. And also we have Jackson over Farmington, 66-57. Jackson getting that victory over Farmington. And Bell City over Oran, 63-62. The Bell City Cubs putting together a fine season this year. They're kind of right there in the middle of the pack, or towards the back half of that Stoddard County Conference, but an improving team. Look forward to more Bell City in the years to come. And also we have Chaffee over Oak Ridge, 57-38. Chaffee getting that victory last night. And we have Leopold over Greenville, 60-54. And Saxony Lutheran over DeSoto, 52-41. That's a team to look out for down the way as well in Class 3. Only a couple losses on their season this year. They're in Saxony Lutheran, team to look out for come district time. And Scott City over East Prairie, 73-56. Excuse me, 73-56. East Prairie struggling a bit in this last half of the season. They've had some really nice wins. Kind of struggled since Christmas time, but we'll see if they can get it put together towards the district time here in just a few weeks. And those are the games from last night, and we're getting into some very good play here. Only a couple weeks remaining in the season, heading into district play, so it's going to be very exciting to see what happens going forward for the rest of the year. And touching on that Hayti South Pemiscot game, you can catch that replay here on YHC over the weekend. We'll have that coming up today at noon, and 6:30 today. You can catch it Sunday afternoon at 3. We'll also get it uploaded to cmosportzone.com by this weekend, and even on YHCTV.com as well. So be sure to catch that replay. It's action-packed from beginning to end. Great crowd on hand there in Hayti last night. Terry McVeigh and Tommy Jacobs bring you the play-by-play in that game. Catch that later on this weekend. And we're going to take a quick break and be back with Dustin Ferguson. He's the Hayti basketball coach, victorious coach from the Bootheel Conference Finals last night. We'll be along with him coming up.
The Ford Holiday Sales Event going on now at Harry Blackwell Ford, Malden.
Check out these holiday savings on 2016 SE Escapes, as low as $20,148 on the web.
Here you can buy a 2015 Taurus SEL for $25,682.
Save nearly $11,000 on this F-350 Lariat, now only $51,846.
From all of us at Harry Blackwell Ford in Malden, Merry Christmas!
Deposit your check here or here or even there. Deposit your check wherever you are with First Midwest Bank's new mobile deposit. Just tap, snap, deposit. It's that simple. New mobile deposit from First Midwest Bank, serving the communities we call home.
The area's fastest internet just got faster. Introducing 100 meg internet, now available from New Wave. With 100 meg, there's nothing you can't do. Browse better, stream more, power every device. This is lightning fast internet designed to fit your family's needs. It's brand new and it's the fastest game in town. Get 100 meg internet from New Wave, your local provider of the speed you need. Call 1-888-8-NEW-WAVE today.
And we're back, and along with Dustin Ferguson, he's the Hayti basketball coach of the victorious Hayti Indians last night in the Bootheel Conference Finals. And Dustin's, it's good to have you on the show. I know you had a big night last night, actually a big week, making a great run through that conference tournament this week.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm glad to be on the show.
Sure. And, Dustin, you came into the tournament with the fourth seed in this tournament. And, you're kind of an outside shot already coming to this tournament, even though that Bootheel Conference is always competitive. And, in that semifinal game especially, you go up against Malden. You lost on your home court earlier in the season to the Green Wave. Green Wave undefeated on the year, looking very good in the conference, and you knocked them off in the semifinals. And a great showing last night against South Pemiscot in a close game all the way down to the end. So two big back-to-back victories Thursday and Friday night against some very good teams.
Right, yeah, we felt like coming into the tournament that we were the best 7-11 team in the whole area. And we've lost, in that first Malden game, I know you guys did that when we had an early lead. We jumped out, we looked good. And that's kind of been the story of our season. I think we blowed 6 or 7 fourth quarter leads this year of those 11 losses. So we knew that the talent was there. We knew the potential was there. We had to figure it out down the stretch. And I was very proud of the way that we competed this week. That Malden game was tough. You got to go into overtime to win. And then to bounce back and play well again last night, I was very proud of that.
Sure, and that's a tough matchup. Even Malden, tough matchup. You were really outsized in both matchups, but you guys really played with a lot of intensity, a lot of toughness, and really tough those wins out.
Yeah, I guess you could call us the mighty midgets. We're outmatched, but I told them that we might not be as big as everybody, but if we'll just play hard, enough pressure will bust a steel pipe, and that's what our philosophy was. We're going to get up and pressure you as hard as we can and try to eliminate the size disadvantage. And it worked in those 2 games, and hopefully it continues to work for us. The kids are believing right now, so that's 90% of the battle.
Sure. Here in this highlight, Dustin, we saw the 3-ball go down very well for you guys last night, especially in that third quarter. Newbell opened up in that third quarter with some great shooting, and that really seemed to be the difference last night. How y'all was able to hit that perimeter shot.
That kid, the whole season we've been trying to get him to shoot, and he's so unselfish. He doesn't want to upset anybody. He doesn't want people to think he's a ball hog. And for the last 2 weeks, I've told him just to shoot it every time that he caught it. And that may have backfired at the end of that third quarter because he just kept shooting. They got it back to 8 where we had a 12-point lead. But you know what? He hit quite a few there, so we'll live with that.
Sure. Yeah, that was fun to see there. It seemed like there was 4 3-point shots between Newell's 3, and I think it was Farr hitting another one, I believe. But it was a great to watch there in that second half as those shots were falling, and we see here just good penetration to the basket, real aggressiveness off the dribble, and like you say, being outside, you've got to really pick up the intensity off the dribble, and be aggressive towards the paint to have success against these teams. And it seems like y'all put it together at the right time.
Right. I mean, just even from 2 weeks ago, our philosophy on offense has improved. It's changed. Our kids' mindset. That's why we were losing games. We'd fall in love with the 3 because we're so small. And when shots are falling, you look great. But when they quit falling, you look terrible. And then this week, and even when we played East Prairie last Friday, we're getting things at the basket. We're going at the rim, and we're trying to attack. And then we kick it out, and we can make shots when they're kicked out. So just an improvement on offense by the kids. I mean, they're playing a lot better. They're playing together. There wasn't one selfish guy out there last night. So it makes it a lot of fun to coach when the offense is going that way.
Sure. And your defense stepped up big last night. South Pemiscot's so hard to defend. They've got great length there with Hardiman. You can see he just takes the ball length of the floor. It seems like just in a few gallops, and right around the rim, they're so tough at getting rebounds and getting putbacks. So, a tough team to defend. And it seems like you guys did a great job making it quite difficult for them to get baskets around the rim.
Yeah, we at the beginning of the year we took a lot of heat because we just kept them in man-to-man. We wouldn't put them in a zone. We wouldn't bail them out, our kids. And we just made sure that they understood we're playing for February. You know, we'll take our lumps early, but you're going to learn how to guard people. And I think that even the whole month of January, we played a pretty tough schedule. And I think the whole month we've guarded very well. Our Achilles heel has been rebounding the ball because we're so small. But credit Dayon Moore last night in the second half. Hardeman was unbelievable on the glass, and at halftime we told Dayon that you're gonna have to stay attached to him, and you're gonna have to control the boards. And I can't remember past the midway through the third quarter because everything was so crazy at that point. But I know for the first 4 or 5 minutes of the third quarter, I know Dayon Moore made a statement that he was going to rebound and he was going to be there, and that was huge. We needed that. Defensively, we can we can pressure the ball, and we're doing a better job getting to the help line. But we struggle rebounding the ball, so we got one guy to step up, and that was huge.
Sure. Yeah, just a great effort throughout that whole tournament this week from your Indians, and especially last night. Great atmosphere last night. Couldn't beat that. Crowd was into it, both sides, and just great play on both sides. Made it very, very exciting coming down to the end of a championship game. Certainly worth watching that game and bringing it to the folks last night, and I look forward to seeing the replay of that too. It's fun to watch, and great atmosphere down there in Hayti. So congratulate you on your win, Dustin. And I know you got a tough stretch to go heading here in district time. You play out of Class 3, so it's going to be pretty competitive going forward. You're probably going to be right there in the mix with Malden again, and you got Crothersville there in the mix still the rest of the way, so you probably haven't seen the last of these teams yet.
It doesn't get any easier. The district is there's a lot of parity in Class 3 District 1. Anybody, I think, could beat anybody. So that's a scary thing, but it also gives us a chance, and we know that we're capable of doing it now after seeing what we did this week.
Sure. And do you know by chance where your district's at yet?
It's at Malden.
Malden, okay. Yeah. So, some familiar territory there for you there, the Bootheel Conference in Malden. So we'll see how it goes the rest of the way. Dustin, before we go, we've got to bring up the shoes.
Those are the lucky shoes.
Yeah.
Those are the lucky shoes. There's a story behind them. I wore those at my wedding, and I wore those when we won the district championship at Clarkton. And I wore them in my first battle of the Bootheel last year against Crothersville, and we won. And then I wore them last night, and we won. So those are my go-to guys right there.
I wish we could have got a shot of you on the sideline with these bad boys, because it don't take long to spot those bad boys on the sideline, and it's been fun. You're kind of creating a little thing for yourself because you don't wear them all the time. That's the thing. They stand out when you do, because it's only been a handful of times over the past number of years that you've worn them, but it's been fun to watch.
For big time stops. You got to pull out all the stops when you got big games.
Right.
We have fun with it. And the kids, when I come in the gym last night, they're all pointing. He's got the shoes on. He's got the shoes on. So they know.
Got to step it up. Hey,
we have fun with it.
Whatever it takes to get it out of them, right?
That's right. If they're gonna play hard, I'll wear the shoes anytime they want me to.
Yeah. All right, that's fun. So you catch that replay and catch Dustin over there on the sidelines with those shoes, and you'll have some fun with it. So got your own little niche there. I like it, Dustin. So,
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, appreciate you spending some time with us this morning, Dustin, and good luck the rest of the way. And it's gonna be fun to see these Hayti Indians competing all the way to the end.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
All right. See you down the road. Basketball coach, Hayti Indians surging right now. They fought through that Bootheel Conference tournament. Very competitive tournament. It is year in and year out. It's tough to come away with that tournament. The way those teams, how physical they are. Those top 4 teams, Malden, Crothersville, South Pem, and Hayti just battle. It seems like year in and year out for that conference title. And you throw Portageville there in the mix as well. It's on the back half of that conference this year. Very competitive conference, always fun to watch each year down there in the Bootheel. And we're going to take another break and be back with more stories from the area coming up.
You just can't do it anymore, but you want to stay in your own home. Bales is the place to call. Bales is committed to helping people like you to maintain your independence and live your life on your terms with dignity. Bales can help with your family getting paid for taking care of you. There is no need to live anywhere but our own home with Bootheel Area Independent Living Services there to help. Just call 888-449-0949 or stop by 719 Tico Road in Kennett to find out more. Bales, Bootheel Area Independent Living Services, serving Dunklin, New Madrid, Pemiscot, and Stoddard counties.
What is your emergency? Need assistance at County Road 61 and Highway 9. Help is on its way.
Clear! There's a better way to jumpstart your soil back to health. Apply Endzone to protect and increase nitrogen efficiency without killing bacteria. Apply Prevent to increase phosphorus availability and reduce fixation. Better yet, use them both to get more from your fertilizer investment and see higher potential yield. Ag Explorer, your prescription for healthy soil.
The competitive edge. It's the edge that sets you apart from your competition. Every business needs it. Now every business can get it. Partner with Advanced Business Solutions and give your business the competitive edge. Advanced Business Solutions, delivered by New Wave, offers scalable fiber optic-based internet solutions to fit your needs. Now you can download without the wait on a network designed for you. Call Advanced Business Solutions and get the competitive edge for as low as $39.99 per month.
And now let's take a look at some stories from the area this weekend. First, starting off with the Sikeston Bulldogs. Their victory last night over Kennett extends their undefeated season to 19-0. What a run and what a season it's been for the Sikeston Bulldogs as they go to 19-0 with their victory over Kennett last night. They've been pretty much dominant through the whole season, especially in the CMO Conference. They've just rolled through. Actually, it's Poplar Bluff. Sorry about the overlay there. It's Poplar Bluff they beat last night. They beat Kennett earlier in the week. So they got 2 wins in the CMO Conference this year. Kennett and Poplar Bluff last night. So great run by the Sikeston Bulldogs, extending their undefeated record. Dominic Dyes had a big game last night, 22 points in that game. And that Farmington game a couple weeks back, they hit over 23s in that contest. I think Dominic Dyes had 7 or more. I think it was actually more than that. So these Bulldogs are for real. And there's kind of talks about this team being on par with that undefeated team back a few years back. I believe 2011 was the undefeated season, 30-0 season for the Bulldogs, state champion, running the table. So they got a shot. They've been dominant so far this year across the board, looking really good in that CMO Conference to pretty much run away with that regular season title. But unless there's a hiccup one night where it just doesn't show up. The only time I can remember it not showing up was the district championship. What was that, about 2 or 3 years back with Cape Central, up in Cape Central. Sikeston was very much a perimeter team, and just it did not arrive that night. They just couldn't get anything to fall. I think they shot in the teens from I think maybe even less than the teams, but it was basically around 10%. I think they shot from the field or from the three-point line, and they really relied on that three-pointer. But other than that, unless they have one of those nights, right now it looks like this team's going undefeated, at least in the regular season. And looking at that postseason, it's going to be fun to watch these Sikeston Bulldogs make a run, potentially for an undefeated season. So it makes it exciting. Anybody's going for an undefeated season, it's going to be fun to watch to see these Bulldogs make that run this year for that undefeated season. And the Vashon Wolverines are back in the mix. They've been off the map for quite some time. They had the controversy with, Coach Floyd Irons and, all the recruiting and stuff like that. And they kind of fell off the map and been struggling, but they're back this year. And they've got some big kids, I think a couple 6'8" plus kids. And they're going to be right there in the mix down the way. So it's going to be very exciting to see how it all plays out. And this year's run for Sikeston, currently undefeated 19-0. We'll see how that plays out going forward with the Bulldogs. Hogs. And, of course, always got a chance there. One of the best coaches, Hallfield there, Greg Hallfield, Hall of Fame high school basketball coach. He's always going to have them right there in the mix towards the end of the year. So got a great season going forward so far for the Bulldogs. And let's touch on another local story. Dexter's Makayla Waldner. Big week for her. She signs with Mississippi State to play college soccer. She made this commitment well over a year now. I think she committed maybe, I don't know if it was late in her sophomore year or for sure her junior year. So she's had this verbal commitment for quite some time to Mississippi State to play SEC soccer. But she signed this week, as we saw, got here a picture from her Facebook page, out at the Bearcat Event Center this week, making that signing with Mississippi State. And a great talent, great athlete all around, Makayla Waldner from Dexter. She's a great tennis athlete. Even played on the high school football team a few years back as a kicker, and a great track athlete in the spring as well. And I think we've actually talked to Makayla Waldner on our channel before, and she might have some interest playing or participating in track and field at the college level as well, if she can work that in. So just a great athlete all around, Makayla Waldner, and making her official signing with Mississippi State to play college soccer at the next level. And one of the very rare athletes you'll see in high school sports, especially among girls playing that many sports. And the thing is, soccer, Dexter doesn't even have a Dexter soccer program. She plays a lot of that, the elite amateur leagues, and plays all over the country. She's traveled the country and is actually one of the top soccer players in the country. I can't remember what her ranking was. I think this past summer she was ranked in the top 100, I believe, in the country. So quite a talent there with Makayla Waldner, signing to play with Mississippi State in college soccer. So wish her the best of luck going forward with her soccer and maybe other careers as well, possibly in the track and field career as well. So wish the best of luck to her going forward. And let's take a look at our broadcast schedule for YHC and CMOSportZone.com. And here's the games we've got coming up this week. This coming Tuesday night, we've got Stoddard County Basketball, Bell City at Dexter from the Bearcat Event Center. Look forward to that this coming Tuesday night. And then next Thursday night, we've got Piggott at Rector. And we'll be looking forward to that Northeast Arkansas matchup Thursday night. We're going to try to bring that live to you as well down there from Rector. But we'll see about that next Thursday night. And then next Friday night, we've got Dexter at Kennett. Nice CMO Conference matchup. That's been quite a battle these past few years. It was a great game last year. Dexter beat Kennett here in Dexter. And then it was the Bloomfield Christmas Tournament Championship this year, all the way down to the wires. Kennett beat Dexter. Should be a nice rematch down there in Kennett next Friday night on February 12th. We'll be live there from Kennett next Friday night. So look forward to that next week. Got 3 nice games for you to show right here on YHC and CMOSportZone.com. And as you see there on the schedule, not a whole lot of games left. We got a couple weeks left to go in the season. Then, as you see there towards there at the end, the district and state tournament games, and we'll be bringing those as well based on the schedules and where they're at come the end of the year. So I look forward to some big time basketball still yet on the schedule for this year. So stick around. We'll bring it all to you right here on YHC and CMOSportZone.com. And we're going to take one more break and be back with a little Super Bowl preview. We're going to wrap that up for the show today, and we'll be back with that coming up.
Welcome to NFL Total Access,
the show that takes you inside the locker room and down on the field. With inside access to all 32 teams all year long. NFL Total Access, Monday through Saturday, only on NFL Network.
NFL Network, where football season never ends.
NFL Red Zone, the channel that brings you every touchdown from every game on Sunday afternoons.
I can't break away.
Watch the most exciting moments like never before, live in HD. Every touchdown from every game, live on one channel, NFL Red Zone.
And welcome back, and now we're going to take a look at the Super Bowl matchup for this Sunday. We got the AFC champion Denver Broncos taking on the NFC champion Carolina Panthers, and that'll be this Sunday 5:30 start on CBS, a little earlier due to the West Coast start. So look forward to Super Bowl 50, the Golden Super Bowl this year on CBS. Sunday start at 5:30. Big storylines coming into this one. You've got the potential and probably anointed MVP and Cam Newton, quarterback of the Carolina Panthers, and the honors ceremony taking place this evening. I believe that's on the NFL Network, and likely Cam Newton will be named the MVP of this season. And great season by the Panthers. Finished the season 15-1, coming into the Super Bowl 17-1, only one loss on the season. And Cam Newton, big on the scene nationally, as he really put together a fine second half of the year. Started out the first half pretty average, pretty typical for him, but he just blew up in the last half of the season, as we saw some other quarterbacks do as well. Russell Wilson really turned his game on as well, but Cam Newton, 35 touchdowns passing, 10 touchdowns rushing, one of the better seasons you'll see from passing and rushing in the NFL, and he can cap it off with a big win Sunday with a victory over the Broncos. You look at the Broncos, of course, the dominating storyline with them, Peyton Manning, 39-year-old quarterback, the oldest to start a Super Bowl over his boss, John Elway, general manager of the Denver Broncos. He was a starter at 37 and 38 years old in 97 and 98 seasons. And Peyton Manning coming into what will potentially be the last game of his career. There's been a lot of talk about him, packing it up this year, calling it a career after this game. No better way to play your last game in the Super Bowl. And there's even talks. News broke out this week that the Los Angeles Rams, formerly St. Louis Rams, would be interested in picking Peyton Manning up for the 2016 season, as they've just had deep troubles at quarterback with Nick Foles and then going to Case Keenum. Just not a lot of production there, and bringing in Peyton Manning for a year to at least be a stopgap for their next potential quarterback. So there's always an option out there, I guess, for Peyton after the season, but we'll see. But big storyline. Anytime you have a big-time quarterback potentially playing his last game of the Super Bowl, and he's the most prolific passer we've seen in the NFL. Got a chance to wrap it up with his second Super Bowl championship and be the oldest to win one as well, and the actually only quarterback to win with multiple teams. Quite a storyline built up for this one from both angles. Big-time defenses in this game. Denver brings in the top defense in the league. They lead the league in sacks. And the best pass defense, only giving up, I think, 199 yards passing. And pretty good in the run, too. I think third or fourth in the NFL against the rush. Big-time defense, as we saw last week against the New England Patriots, just shutting down that Patriots defense, albeit at home. It's going to be a neutral field. It's probably more of a Denver crowd out there on the West Coast, so probably be a more favorable to them than the Carolina Panthers having to travel across the country for the most part. So, it should be a favorable Denver crowd. And we'll see what happens. It's going to be a good game. Carolina's defense. This is one of those games where it's top offense versus top defense. Carolina had the top offense. Denver's got the top defense. Usually those top defensive teams actually win, but Carolina's defense is right there. I think they're second in the league in defense. So it's not as if, it's not as if it's just a clear number one offense versus number one defense. It's kind of like what you saw a couple years ago with the Broncos and the Seahawks, where it was just the storyline was the offense versus the defense, whereas the Broncos' defense was not quite on the par of the Seahawks, but very two good defensive teams. Carolina's a good. They force turnovers. That's where their game is. They led the league in takeaways this year, and that's what led to a lot of good bigger points out of the Carolina Panthers, getting those turnovers, getting it to the offense to punch them in. So it's going to be a big matchup. A lot of storylines built up in this one, and it'll certainly be the highest watched Super Bowl of all time, and it seems like that record's broken every year. But the golden Super Bowl of Super Bowl 50 is going to be fun to watch this weekend, and we'll see what happens. It's going to be fun to watch. So that'll bring the end of the football season this week. I know this week was signing week in college football, and that's always, man, that's become such an event. It's just unreal how that's just blown up. Just players signing to play at college, but they've made it into quite an event. So, we'll be looking forward to football before you know it, come fall. So we'll see what happens. But plenty of basketball to go. We've got plenty to bring to you right here on YHC and CMOSportZone.com. And we'll be looking forward to the rest of the way in high school basketball. And that'll do it for us today. And we appreciate you for tuning in as always. And we'll look forward to seeing you right back here with us next weekend on the Roundtable. And until then, I want to thank Andrew Moore from the control room bringing all the graphics today. Appreciate you for tuning in, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week. Take care, everyone.